Okay, let's get this started real quick. So the last video I did was basically this really cool debate video. And the problem with it was, unfortunately, at the end of the day, the connection for internet was cut. So I'm sad. And as a result, we're now going to go into the final video of tonight, which is where I answer questions for free. And we're getting some really good stuff with that video, with the prior debate video. And they cut the connection. So let's get into it. There are some rules for how this whole thing works going forward for me to answer questions for free. The rules are pretty simple. Let's get into it. You're going to call the 407-279-1754 phone number, okay? When you do, no story mode, have your legal question ready, don't stack your questions, and you get 5 to 7 minutes per question, okay? I'm going to set up the phone right now. Here's the gig. You can call in. I'll answer questions. We'll get some crickets going on. We'll make it happen. But the bottom line is, don't be unprepared. Be prepared with your legal question. All right, I'm now at the sound of the gong. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That's a better one, but still not it. We're just going to keep rolling. So bottom line is this. We are now going to go ahead and take calls to answer any and all questions that you may have about Social Security disability benefits. And remember, if you have Medicare questions, real quick, hold on. So I don't do Medicare. I just don't. It's not my thing. I don't sign people up for it. Give a call basically to these guys if you have Medicare questions, okay? They can go ahead and do a whole thing where they work with you on your plan and do a tune-up on it. Let's get right to the questions real quick. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this real quick, sir. I'm not trying to stump you, but I really hope you can answer this question. I have been the subject of malicious slander and racial prejudice all my life. When I was 27, it resulted in my surviving a hate crime that left me disabled. I was denied due process and every human right there is. The city ordered my death. An execution was performed by the law. I escaped with mortal injuries. The cop confessed in court. I was denied recognition, justice, and compensation. Can I find a lawyer who will petition the state to finish the job by firing squad? If I can't be compensated enough to allow me to leave this hellhole, I want to face the firing squad and the crime or crimes that warranted my death be made public. All I want is to leave this town.
Why don't you just move to a different place?
I co-own a house and I just cannot afford to leave the residents, much less the city. Everything is on my side. You know, I survived a hate crime by a cop. It's just like I won the lottery, $1 million, and the rich people in town, the judge and everybody just said, "Hey, no, you just can't have it. Yeah, we're just not going to let you have it."
But I mean, if you hate that area like that much, like why not just sell and move anywhere else?
My brother has got controlling interest. He refuses to sell. I'm powerless. I would rather the city own up to it, the state own up to it. If I could find a lawyer, I would petition the judge, just like Gary Gilmore in 1974. They made a movie about it with Tommy Lee Jones, I believe.
So wait, if you're willing to face
death,
if you're willing to face death, then
why?
Why not just go anywhere? Because anything's better than that. I mean, like what would it take for you to move?
Public. I would have settled for $50,000 at the time. I mean, that would get me out of town, you know, just public recognition. If they did sentence me to death, at least it would get public recognition. At least I would go down and people, it would receive acknowledgement. But stuck here in this town, being ridiculed daily, talked about behind my back, all they've ever done is told lies about me. And it ended up with me, you know, I don't care what they say. I was a full-time employed factory worker, and they just couldn't have that. I was sentenced to death. It was carried out. They got caught. That's like I said, it's like I won the lottery. And they just said, no, you can't have it. Well, I want somebody to own up to it. Somebody needs to be accountable for this. I want to know if I can find a lawyer who will do this, because I 100%.
You won't be able to find a lawyer to set you up for a firing squad. It's just, you're not going to be able to
do it myself.
I mean,
I can't even do it myself.
You can try, but it's not really going to go anywhere. All right. So legal answer to that is no. But I mean, if you're really in that bad of shape, I would find, some other place to go. Remember, I mean, are you SSI or SSDI?
SSDI.
So then why not move out of the country?
I thought about getting a one-way ticket to Hawaii and just living on the beach or something.
Man, you can't afford Hawaii.
I don't want to live there.
I couldn't afford Hawaii.
Really?
You can't afford Hawaii.
I don't want to live on the beach.
What about I mean you can't live in Hawaii. It's so expensive. I can't live in Hawaii.
I believe it.
So, point is, you could go to Thailand. You know what I mean? You could go to a place like that.
I really don't want to leave the country. I like, there's no way I could pick up another language. If I could get a GoFundMe started, I think maybe that might get some kind of, support. I've tried, and I need help doing anything, but nobody in this town will even speak to me, much less help me start a GoFundMe. The whole town, just was involved in this, seems like.
Okay, so, I mean, why don't you want to leave the country then?
I just rather we would stay in the United States, sir. I still believe in America and all the values.
I mean, you could just
Charlie Kirk left a vacuum. His unjust termination left a vacuum, and hey, why not give some acknowledgement to the national representative of police brutality? Why not help a man out? Why just beat a man down until he's just forced to just leave the country? This is so unfair. It's just so unfair. The only thing that reminds me of it, besides Gary Gilmore, is the Ken Rex McElroy in 1981 in Missouri, Skidmore, Missouri. An entire town was involved in his murder. He walked out of the bar. Over 40 people were waiting for him outside. 6 of them appeared out with guns and assassinated him, sitting in his truck. And the FBI has tried for 40 plus years to try to solve this, and no one person has ever been held accountable.
All right. Well, let me jump in. Closing arguments. What would you like to say before we switch to the next caller?
I just don't see how someone that survives a documented police execution can be ignored by the media. And the internet's supposed to help people. How can this go unnoticed? How I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I don't have a criminal record. I was gainfully employed. I've worked since I was 12 years old. This ended all that. It ended everything. Why don't I deserve acknowledgement? All these other people will get acknowledgement. I mean, why can't I get some kind of recognition? I just want to leave this town. If I could just leave this town.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. You could.
Well, like I said, if my brother would agree to sell and we sell this house to me, split the money, I'd be gone in a heartbeat.
All right. Well,
I'll be gone before they could blink their eyes.
I'm going to take I'm going to take the next caller because I got to keep it to 5 to 6 minutes, or 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
But you have a wonderful night, and I hope you can basically get this more in the news so that people can understand what happened to you. But you have a wonderful night.
I'm never going to stop trying. I'm never going to stop trying.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But sounds good, good sir. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and take the next call real quick. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so with that said, we're going to wait for the next caller, 407-279-1754. Let's see what we got here. My phone's doing this weird thing. Hold on. All right, picking up the phone, pressing the accept button. Speaker is on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hello, I have a person on SSDI. They worked this year for only about 5 to 6 days.
Okay.
And then they went through the disability process. And this person is a part owner of a construction company. The construction company is an ESOP, which is where a percentage of the company is broken down across all the employees. It's employee owned. And so the ESOP is going to pay out the person that's been found disabled of their ownership. Is that person going to be held liable, or do they need to let the SSDI know immediately when that person gets paid out for the purchase of their part of the business?
Well, yeah, because they're going to be receiving funds, and just to be clear, like that's like selling a portion of the company. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, now he's SSDI, correct?
Correct.
So he's going to want to let them know, but it shouldn't have a direct. Well, it depends on how they. So the problem is this: if I advise you on exactly how to come down, that's as if I knew how it would be formally constructed as a payment. These payments could come down as investment income or traditional income or some form of earned income or some wiggle deal where it's, an IRS filing such as this, or this. So what I would say is this: he should let the SSA know, but he's going to want to make sure and try and do it as if this was a form of investment income that would not affect him as a part of his 9-month trial. Well, he's already blown through 5 or 6. So, but bottom line is this: I get what's going on. I think at the end of the day, I think what he needs to do, let the SSA know, and then the forced sale, the actual sale of the thing, he needs to go ahead and just whatever he can do, make sure that the actual money paid to him is categorized in an investment payment way that the IRS would see it as a non-countable income.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. All righty.
I appreciate your help. Thank you for answering the question. Have a great night.
Thank you, good sir. You too. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and take the next caller. Hold on. Let's see what we got here real quick. I think that the next one was an anonymous one. Let me see what we got. Hold on. Boopity boop. Waiting for the next caller. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's see. So the ESOP. Oh yeah, if Kosher was trying to call in, like my entire internet connection got cut. Like I had no internet. So whatever powers that be, now the internet's fine, totally fine. But we were saying things on that apparently were not acceptable. So yeah, just is what it is. It is what it is. But anyways, waiting for the next caller to call in. Let's see what happens. 407-279-1754. Again, 407-279-1754. Let's see what we got going on. Anybody? Anybody at all? Anybody at all? Keep in mind, I'm okay with going to bed early. Super okay with going to bed early. All right, I'm going to count it down. 10, 9. Oh, there it is. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hey, Walt. My name's Freddie. I'd like to find out when I reach 67, do they still do, what do they call them, those CSRs or whatever?
Oh, CDRs? They're not likely to, because once you reach 67, they're not really going to look into you because you're transitioning to retirement. They won't look into you realistically unless just some sort of fraud thing that they're looking at.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all I wanted to find out. You have a good night.
Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful night.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Let's do this because I am a little tired right now. Let's do this. Let's see if ... we can do one more caller. Just one more caller. All right, here we go. All right. Anybody want to call in? I see Sandy says go to bed. I'm a big fan of that. I do have to wake up early and work with an employee in the morning. The last person who did call was anonymous, so can't call him back. Just as a heads up. Oh, there they are. All right, here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, I'm calling to find out what I can do as a disabled person that's not able to get SSI.
So you can't get SSDI and you can't get SSI, right?
Well, I'm being denied.
So you're being denied solely for SSI, but there's no like weird little thing that keeps you in an element sense from getting SSI. It's just like it's a severity problem, right?
It's a what?
Is it like a severity problem where, basically, you don't meet the severity requirements for an impairment, or is it something else?
Well, I have severe scoliosis.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't understand why it is that they keep denying me.
How many denies have you had?
Several.
So like 2 denials, 3 denials?
Oh, no, more than that.
How many times have you gone in front of the judge?
I haven't gone in front of any judge.
Do you just did not get denied and then reapply and get denied and reapply?
Yeah.
What's the current age?
I'm 58.
Call me tomorrow at the law firm. I'll see what I can do to figure out the claim specifics. Because when people call in, they're like, "What do I do?" And it's a very wide question. Like, how do I win the claim? And it's tough because if I don't have your file in front of me where I can see into the ERE and look up the med folder and look up the E folder and the D folder, it's tough because I can't just figure out what they're unhappy about and then fix that thing. That's one of the major things. It's just a pain in the butt. But anyways, sorry, but ask me a more specific question. Yeah.
Well, I just need to know how I would be able to get on to SSI.
Well, I mean, you'd have to prove severity, and you're probably getting stopped as a result of severity limitations. Like, how long have you been applying for this and not working? Like, when was the last time you had a job?
When I was 21.
Okay, so I mean, you haven't worked since 21. Were you a family person, or how did you survive all that time?
I was married.
All right, so I guess what I would say is this: are you still married or no?
No.
Okay, so who's supporting you now?
No one.
Okay, so, and you said what are your top 3 impairments?
What do you mean? I have severe scoliosis.
No, I get the spinal issue, but are there any other impairments, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, stuff like that?
I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, are there other impairments depression, anxiety, maybe a respiratory issue, maybe a cardiovascular issue?
Yeah. I noticed that my breathing is affected. I have a lot of pain, nerve pain. They call that sciatica.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, okay. And a lot of pressure on one side.
So what I would do is I would go ahead and just give me a call tomorrow, but have your top 5 medical conditions ready to roll. And then I'm going to walk you through, things that potentially the claim would need. And then you're going to tell me what you've done so far so I can kind of figure out what direction things need to go going forward,
Okay.
Yeah. All right. But you have a wonderful night, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Walt. I talked to you a few times before. Real quick question. My adjudicator, it's been like 16 months. I finally got a hold of them, and when I did, they said 3 months it would be until I get an answer. And so I get 2 letters in the mail. One of them was a form I had to sign, and then the second one was saying something they wanted to know what psychiatrist I go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I never went to a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that that's something that they normally ask. And then when I asked, how long it would take last time, she said that it would take till New Year's. And then when I addressed that, she said, "Oh, I never said that." And I could get in trouble if, my boss heard you say that, this and that. So then I asked her, "Well, how long will it take?" And I said, "Is it going to take another year? I've been waiting 16 months, and she says, "No, by New Year's, you should have an answer." So what do you think of that? And then, she totally told me the complete opposite than from the beginning. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, you got to understand, a lot of the new SSA reps don't know what they're doing. So that's a major factor here that's playing its part. Also, the system is not working the way it's supposed to because they just don't have enough employees. So as a result of all that, you're pissed off because you're not getting it done. They're not getting it done. And you're kind of stuck in this situation where you're like, hey, when's this going to process? Huppity hup, 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 hup. And
last time I talked to you, you said if the case went to a certain place, it would be decided that more than likely it would be a win for me.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you said last time.
How long ago was that?
About a week or 2 ago.
So here's the thing, I can't tell you exactly what's going on because I can't see inside the case. If I could see inside the case, I could kind of direct you on what's going on. But the thing is, I just the problem is I can't tell you what they last touched or what they last did. So
yeah, I mean when I told them about the 202.06,
mm-hmm.
the grid rules, I said, "Are you aware of the grid rules?" And she's like, "Yeah, I know how all that works." And so, I mean, is it something that, and should I even be talking to them if I have a lawyer?
No, when you have a lawyer, you don't talk to them because you have a buffer. So if you wanted to say something, you say it to the lawyer and then they put it in terms that won't get you in trouble. So the preference would be, we would not want you talking to them. Yeah.
The adjudicator said that she tried contacting my lawyer and she
mm-hmm.
couldn't get in touch with me, and that's why she called me, because she couldn't get a hold of my lawyer. You know what I mean?
So you got a great attorney. You just got the best out there. Let me tell you, just sign them up for more shenanigans and Pop-Tarts. I'm excited.
No.
Man, I mean, it's not a great situation. Have you been able to reach your attorney?
No, because they really don't get involved until it goes to trial. You know what I mean?
So you got a big
box. Some other person working, answering the phones, and that person's not a lawyer.
So you got a big box.
Yeah. Like I say, I wish I could have seen you, or even known about you. You know what I mean? Before I got the one that I got.
I mean, what I would say is this. I mean, you're so close to getting a decision. I hate to have you pull the other attorney and go through the whole yada yada. And the real shocker.
Do you think it's a possibility of me even winning this thing? It might be approved, though. I mean, I don't I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like, I got to look at your file. Like, a lot of people ask me, like, hey, how do you think this is going? Here are my impairments. But it's not an impairment list thing unless they're a compassion allowance listing impairment, like one of the really extreme ones, like you got stage 4 cancer, you're completely blind, you're, in a coma half the time. It's a question of severity. Like, how severe are you? When somebody's like, I have degenerative disc disease or I have COPD, and I'm like, cool, but how bad is it? Like, what are the signs that this is bad?
Like 2 months from my 55th. So, maybe if they're going to do the approval as soon as and I think like 2 months away from your birthday, will they approve you, or could they say, hey, we'll approve you, but not until you're 55?
Oh, non-mechanical application. I mean, potentially, yeah. So what? I don't want to just be. I just don't want to throw out there, be like, yeah, it's gonna go there, because I can't tell you which way they're gonna rule. You might get a shitty DDS manager that throws your claim under the bus, and then you're very unhappy. Very unhappy. And then you're in that position, and then you're like, well, he told me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you know what I mean? So, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know. I guess my point to you would be this: like, I'd have to see the file. I guess if you wanted to, you could get a copy of your C file, or not your C file. That's the veterans. You could get a copy of your exhibit disc, and I could take a look at it real quick. I don't usually like to do that because I feel like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, your attorney should do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, am I entitled to go on? The only thing I see on Social Security when I log on is like the steps, and every day I check it, and it goes, one day it says I'm on step 2, the next day it says I'm on 3, then I call the next day and I'm back on 2 again. And then it says I'm back on 3 the next day. And then it just goes back and forth every day. It's switching back and forth. So does that mean they're actually working on my case?
It could mean one of two main things. It could mean a lot of things, but the main things are where essentially somebody got fired who was working on it, and now they got to find somebody else to put on it. The other alternative is where essentially, I'm sorry about the dog in the background because I'm upstairs in the house, but it's just one of those gigs where I can't stop them. Everybody's sleeping, but yeah,
Boston Terriers always snoring here.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But the other thing I would kind of keep in mind with this whole situation is, the other thing is they could have a DDS manager that is essentially, not knowing what they're supposed to be doing, and they keep submitting things to the manager, and the manager keeps kicking it back and saying, no, you got to fix this. No, you got to figure this out. No, you got to do this. And if they've already reached out and they couldn't get a hold of the attorney, and then they were like, okay, well, let's try and get this guy going and give him a call. Like, that's good evidence to say, at the end of the day, that very clearly you have a problem DDS rep. I mean, you could always call them and ask that the DDS rep be swapped to a manager, and whatever they need to do, they do it. But
and if I made that request, would the DDS adjudicator be required to let her supervisor know at that point? She legally bound by that if I tell her that, or is that something I have to go to headquarters or my office?
What I would do is,
my thing, like I say, it's been transferred to Delaware, and my adjudicators from Philadelphia, and I live in Maryland, so it's kind of a crazy deal. But I mean, I don't even know how to get any information on my file.
I mean, man, what I would do is, if you really wanted to get like a manager on it, I would call DDS, get the operator, ask for the extension of the manager of your DDS rep, and then I'd go ahead and try and contact them. If you can't get a hold of them, ask for the manager of that manager and go from there. But I mean,
congressional inquiry, I'm going to try that. If I don't hear by New Year's, I'm going to definitely do a congressional inquiry.
I don't know. I don't know if you realize this, but the congressional inquiry is where they basically send a letter to the SSA. The SSA responds to them and says, hey, The claim is here. This is what's going on. Then they send another letter to the SSA. The SSA updates them on the current status. And then they send a letter to you saying, hey, everything seems to be going as appropriate. So they're not as effective as like an overall check on claim sort of gig. They are good if it's like you suspect fraud or abuse or there's something else going on that's, not okay. But in your instance, yours is more like can you check into it just to slap them on the wrist? And they don't really fold that way when it comes down to it. So I guess what I would say is this. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so in other words, just because my case hasn't been decided real quick doesn't mean I'm going to get it now.
Right. Yeah.
Or do you think
it's not an automatic no? It's just not. I mean, you could get a yes. You could get a yes, but we're moving your alleged onset date. You could get a no. You could get there's a technical issue that has to be fixed, which usually, the attorney fixes. But in your case,
I know what else. I told her that I wanted a copy of my, I want her to send a copy of my evaluation they sent me to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I want a copy of it. I told my physician, and I already requested months ago in August and filled the paperwork out. And she says, oh, I didn't know you want that. So I had to give her the address again. It's like I got to give papers to them and they keep losing stuff. I don't get it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I guess what I would say is this. All right. So one of the things that you are probably upset about is that the SSA doesn't seem like they're super well trained on what needs to get done. And that's probably pissing you off a little bit, and that makes sense. The other thing that's probably pissing you off is that it seems like the SSA is not doing what they're supposed to do in an orderly fashion. But again, remember, a lot of them aren't trained. A lot of them are kind of all over the place. They're just not knowledgeable on the system like they should.
I've been waiting since May 24 for the first initial thing, and I still don't have an answer yet.
I mean, honestly, man, I don't want to say you should have gotten a better attorney, but like you kind of should have gotten a better attorney. And I know the other people, they mass advertise, so it's like, who the hell's going to know? And I get that, but
well, I'm just wondering if that attorney, is it possible that he could know somebody in SSA and they intentionally stall it out, or he has a technique to stall it out so he gets more back pay? Is that possible?
I mean, anything's possible, man. They have people working in the SSA who have been selling social security numbers and contact information. So, I mean, anything's possible,
Right.
So,
I know I don't want to stack no more questions. You've been very helpful, but I did want to ask you one thing about your dog.
Yeah.
The dog doesn't have any itching issues, does it, or allergies?
I mean, sometimes, yeah, but see, here's the thing. My sister is a specialty dermatological board certified veterinarian. So like whenever my dogs had, like when Sweetie had cancer, nobody knew she had cancer, but my sister came over one day and she's like, this is it. This is cancer. We're going to go get her tested. And she got tested. And then in between TPLO number 1, which is a major surgery, and TPLO number 2, which is a major surgery, 3 areas of cancer were removed from Sweetie. So like, like my dogs have lived, longer lives, but they also have, veterinarian family member insurance where they're getting a checkup whether they like it or not. Now, Shadow's about to go in for a TPLO at some point. So, is what it is. But I just, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So, just kind of is what it is.
I'm glad that she's doing better, I take it, right?
I mean, she's very judgmental and pushy and steals all my pizza, but yeah, she's doing better. She's a big girl. She doesn't like people to tell her that. She's not good with the phrasing of no. She's not good with that. She's much better with yes, but she's not very good with no. Yeah. So.
Well, that's great. Well, hey, look, I'll probably talk to you New Year's because the way this is going, I don't think I'm going to be, I'll have to wait some more, I'm sure, knowing them, just expecting it.
See what you can do to basically, you know, help them a little bit and get them moving and grooving in the right direction. Because look, I mean, for your type of claim, it shouldn't take that long. But again, if you have somebody that's kind of like not trained super well on what's going on, you kind of end up in a spot where this stuff happens. And like, that's what I always try to tell people. Like, if you hire the wrong attorney, and honestly, like I have claims too, they get stuck somewhere, but then I got to raise holy hell, get the regional office working on it, get them to push it through, get them to this, get them to that. You know, like, I get it. You know, and I guess what I would say is this, you know, it's one of those gigs where it depends on what you want. And the attorneys don't always want a fast win because, you know, let's just call it like it is. Like, if they get a fast win, they don't get paid much, you know?
Right.
So, you know, they're coming at this thing like, hey, why the hell would I do that? You know? And
Right.
I've not done it that way, but I got to be honest with you too. The whole 5-star thing, like, that's all bullshit. Like, if you go look at Morgan, yeah, if you go look at like Morgan & Morgan, if you go look at like, you know, what's the other one? It's that giant disability firm that, you know, bought out, it's the VA firm that bought out the disability firm. I'm trying to think of their name. Whatever. But if you look at them, they have hardly any 1-star reviews because they have entire teams of people constantly and an entire advertising department appealing those 1-star reviews. And then, you know, working with the person, working out a deal with the person. So like, what I was doing was not taking too many clients so that I would, you know, be able to work each claim properly and yada, yada. But that was it turned out to be a dumb idea because you can just mass appeal these, you know, 1-star reviews and 2-star reviews and shit like that. And to me, it's just, it ruins it. Cause like I've fought for all the 5 stars that I've got, and for them just to like have the constant ability to, you know, essentially not have to take the punishment of them doing a crap job or them not doing the custom work they could have and having all those 5-star reviews and just appealing all the 1 stars and 2 stars and then beating them. Like, it just, to me, it ruins it. Like, and that's another thing for me. That was a huge effect when I realized that like all this hard work I put in, and then they were able to go ahead and basically just mass appeal and mass get around this situation. Man, that killed me. Cause like I put so much effort into like building up those stars on Google.
Right. It's
and
like
then,
day and night difference. You know, you're like, you know, a kind of a people's lawyer where they're just, you know, get them in and get them out. You know,
yeah. And it just, it frustrates the hell out of me, you know? And the field of disability law is super changing. So you have like Atticus out there where they just mass advertise and then they basically send you to another firm in your area. That's their whole gig. You know what I mean? And they basically advertise that they're a law firm. And, you know, but then they end up sending you to some other attorney usually. And, you know, it's, you know, and then there's that other firm. I can't remember the name of it is, let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. Is there? Hold on. It was a VA firm. Now it's not. Now it's VA and then Myler sold to the home. Myler Disability turned into, let's see, Trajector. Right. So if you look up Trajector, right? You look up Trajector. They've got 13,392 Google reviews. Like, no offense, but like 2 years ago, they had fewer Google reviews than I did. And now they got 13,392. And I'm just like, and that to me was, and like if you look at like Morgan & Morgan, like here, let me show you real quick. Morgan & Morgan. You look up them, let's see what they got. I think their big office is in Florida. Let's see what their big office has. I think, yeah. Okay, so Orlando, right? They got 16,000 almost 17,000 5-star reviews, or well, not 5-star, but like almost 5-star reviews, right? Like, it's just, to me, I know the people that are unhappy with those groups because they call me and they tell me
Right.
these stories, and I'm sure some people are happy and that's awesome. But like,
Right.
if I just,
Right.
I didn't realize the mass, I didn't realize I could just hire somebody to constantly, and I may do that. I may do a mega version of disability resolution, hire on a bunch of attorneys, right? Not worry about the extreme detail. I might do that and then just mass
And just
have.
go to court when it all goes to the third step, right?
Right. And then it will go to a marketing division that will get rid of all the 1-star reviews. Like I could do that too, you know? And it just,
Yeah.
it frustrates me because it's like, you know, it just basically, it ruined it for me because I thought like Google reviews were going to be like the standard, like you couldn't cheat them. And now I'm like,
Right,
well,
right.
you sure as hell can get rid of the bad ones. So then to me, it just removes the worth
Well, we
of
all
it.
know that your stars have been earned. So,
Yeah.
you know, and we know that you're for real because you're here talking to me and everyone else. And
Yeah.
helping us out, and believe me, it's much appreciated, you know. And you know, if I do get a settlement, I'm going to send you a nice donation for your dog.
Oh, you don't have,
You know?
yeah, no worries. I mean, you don't, no worries. But, just, you know, do what you can and enjoy life. And life is tough in America. I don't think it's going to get easier too. I got to be honest. Like, I think it's going to get a little better because Trump's doing the right stuff with the economy, but I don't think it's going to get, you know what I mean? I just,
Right.
yeah, I just don't think it's going to get that much
the stock
easier.
market went up so much today. The interest rates are down now 4%. You see that?
Yeah.
Where the Fed loaded it.
Yeah, I've been watching it. I've been seeing it. And, you know, to me, there's a lot of opportunities for people to have and achieve and do. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's got to find a way to,
You know, the last thing I want to say is I think everyone on every one of these internet disability things, we should all rally in Washington and say, hey, why does it take 2 years to get a decision? You know, like at least 100 or 1,000 people, you know, with signs, you know, when are we going to be recognized? You know, the people that can't work, you know what I mean? The people that are scraping by.
But, you know, the problem is
possibly.
they don't know. Like you take Bernie Sanders, you take Elizabeth Warren, they don't really know the programs. They have a general overview, but they don't really know the programs. They know what they're supposed to say. They know what they're supposed to chant, but they don't really know them that well. And the reason why I know that is because I've watched them speak on the topics of them, and they just don't know the details. And so what's upsetting to me is like we keep voting in people that can't actually fix the problem because they don't know what the solution is, which is weird.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, Martin O'Malley, he was pretty good Social Security director or whatever.
Commissioner. Yeah.
I mean, you have said that, correct? I mean, if I heard you right, you said he was pretty good.
So what he did was he literally went around and learned all the different positions from all the different levels, from all the different offices. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. When you take over something big like that, the number one thing you're supposed to go do is learn the job. And when you're the head person, you got to learn all the jobs under you. So, you know, from a leadership standpoint, he was doing it right. You know,
he was from our state, you know, because I'm from Maryland. He was governor here.
How did he do as governor?
You know, comparing him with everyone else, I mean, I think he did pretty good. You know, yeah, I mean, that's some, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as performance of his job, you know, I think he was a very good performer when it comes to being the governor. And I'm not sure if that's because our governors now are terrible or if he was good, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but I can tell you, we've had several questionable governors. That's all I want to say. You know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You know, the problem is there's not, you know, there's not a lot of money left in that state for doing that stuff, you know. But anyways, We're at 44 minutes. I'm actually gonna call tonight. You have a wonderful night, good sir. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Perfect, sir. I'll catch you later. You have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
You too, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we're going to call tonight right there. I'm super tired. I'm like starting to feel my eyes droop. Attorney Walter Hnot, most viewed, subscribed to, and clicked on Disability Attorney in America. Please remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you want a private session, half an hour, 1 hour, mini contract is below. If you want to do another live session like this, no worries, Monday, Thursday. And then please keep in mind, at the end of the day, if you need disability benefits, you can always reach out during the 9 to 5 for the law firm. Same phone number, 407-279-1754, 407-279-1754. And please remember, I do appreciate the 5 stars and the stars that you throw up. It just does demoralize me when I see some of these other companies that had like no stars now magically having zillions of stars. So, and especially when I know a little bit more background on it. But anyways, I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Attorney Walter Hnot, and we will go from there and rock and roll. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you later, and thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.